Most of us grew up in environments where rewards and punishments were used as external means of disciplining children. But in a Montessori system, both of these are strongly discouraged, and this is one feature that baffles many people when learning about the Montessori method, as it is quite natural to use rewards and punishments in our society. In this video, we'll try to look at why Maria Montessori excluded rewards and punishments from her method and what you should actually be doing instead. The Montessori method focuses on the child's internal motivation and self-discipline rather than external prompts. These external means shift the focus of the child from working for himself or herself to working for the adult, and the work itself turns from a passion to a chore. Humans are born to work and not to sit idle. We have this intrinsic desire to strive and thrive. Children especially are self-motivated to achieve everything they need to. When we reward or compliment them for every little thing they do, we are killing this intrinsic desire of theirs. They get used to this and will need it every time they do something. Gradually, they lose their inner drive to achieve things in their lives and will always look forward to and depend on appreciation from others. Also, when you praise them saying good boy or good girl, you're giving an impression that when they don't finish a task the right way, it is a bad job from their side. They might feel that they are loved only when they do things in a certain way, and this might discourage them from trying new things for the fear of failure. And also, they might limit to doing good things only when someone is watching and appreciating them. To avoid their kids from feeling bad, what parents usually do is praise them for every little thing. But when we praise our children more than necessary for something that they haven't taken much effort in doing, we are teaching them that putting in their best effort is not really necessary. They wouldn't know what actually deserves the best appreciation. The effect of rewards and praises is only temporary, whereas finding joy in self-satisfaction will have a long-lasting effect on the child's emotional state. Rewards do work on a short period basis, but over time their effects wear out and the stakes and demands go higher. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be encouraging your child to do more. Encouragement and praise are two different terms. You can be encouraging and paying attention to them even without praising. Always think of how you can encourage a good behavior or a good work instead of merely finishing it off in a good job. For example, if your child helps you with making the bed in the morning, you could discuss with them the positive impact that it has made. Like you could say, since you helped me with making the bed, we have more time for our morning walk today. Thank you so much. Pay attention to details and do a thorough introspection of their work. For example, if the child shows you a work that he or she has done, instead of saying wow or great job, you can say, could you tell me how exactly you did it? Show interest and acknowledge them. The kids don't return feeling unhappy when you do this. You can say things like, did you manage to do it all by yourself? How did you get those details done? Or what colors did you use in your picture? Don't you think these words are more encouraging than a mere good job? Let the child take pride in his own work. You could say things like, you must be really proud of yourself. A child who develops his internal motivation learns to push harder, celebrate his victories, and acknowledge his shortcomings. He learns that it is okay to make mistakes and try again. The same goes with punishments as well. Anything that involves an unwanted stimulus to the child is called a punishment. It is not just a physical act, it could also be a loud scold or a threat. Before the development of concentration, children often exhibit restless behavior and uncontrolled actions. They cannot be controlled by punishments and rewards at this stage. Between the ages of 0 and 3, a child is solely driven by his inner needs and not by the adult's will. He cannot think logically. All we can do at this stage is redirecting and deviating from what is unacceptable. It is only after the age of 3 that a child begins to think from another person's perspective and also why certain things are not okay to do. When a child doesn't obey your orders, react according to your child's age. Children below the age of 6 are still working on building their obedience, and it is actually cruel to punish them at this stage. It is we adults who have to change our perspectives and see things from a child's point of view. We need to be working on our patience and temperament. Punishment doesn't offer any solution to why the child should be correcting the unacceptable behavior. For example, if you tell a child he'll not get a screen time if he doesn't complete his schoolwork, the child doesn't really understand why he should be doing the schoolwork. He also cannot work out how to actually like doing his work and find joy in it. Misbehaving should be seen as a call for help and understanding from the side of the adult. What they actually need is something to focus on and develop their interest and concentration, and are assistant to get to this point. This is what Montessori teachers and parents usually work on. Once they reach this stage and know their limits well, they can be completely set free. The commonly used timeout method, where the child is asked to stay away from everyone and all the activities for a while, is not encouraged in the Montessori method. This might make the child feel that he is not loved and is rejected when he doesn't act according to our wishes. They might be actually seeking our presence during a tantrum, and timeouts could make them feel insecure. What they need at this point could be a gentle and warm hug. The child has an innate desire to eliminate negative behavior and to heal from within, and all he needs is an environment that supports this. When we use external means like punishment to correct him, we are destroying this innate desire and forcing the child to form disguises to mask his wrongdoings. The child never corrects himself through punishments at such a young age. He is only adjusting to our requirements, and once he gets a chance, he'll take out all that he had hidden in fear of the adults. Eventually, characteristics like lying will develop in the child, and he is not to be blamed for this. Instead of excluding the child, change timeouts to time-ins. When you notice that frustration is developing in your child, intervene before it goes out of control. Stay calm and be present throughout. Try and deviate the child or just spend some time with him. Our only duty is to set the limits positively and assist the child in his work towards attaining self-discipline. I've done a video on positive ways of setting ground rules and bringing about self-discipline in your child. I'll link it down below. Resort to natural consequences instead of punishments. For example, imagine your child spills the milk. The natural consequence of this is that they'll not get to drink the milk and also that they have to clean it up. Another example would be spoiling a toy. The natural consequence is that they don't get to play with that toy anymore. In cases where natural consequence is not immediately evident, resort to logical consequences. These are consequences that do not happen, but you create them and link them to the child's actions. These again reinforce the idea that their actions always have a consequence. For example, if they refuse to brush their teeth, tell them that they cannot have any sweet as their teeth would be spoiled without cleaning after eating. Or if they refuse to leave the park on time, cut down their story time saying that they lost that time in the park. Refrain from saying things that have no reasoning. For instance, if you tell your child, if you don't come from the park, you don't get to play with your friend tomorrow, the child doesn't understand how not leaving the park on time is related to him playing with his friend. That has no connection. Don't say things like, if you don't clean up, you don't get to eat your favorite snack. You can instead say, if you don't clean up, you might never find that toy again and it might go in the garbage. Make sure what you're saying is actually an effect of their action and also put it in a way your child will understand. And these shouldn't be said in the form of threat, instead as simple facts. Once they understand that their actions have an impact, they'll want to do the right thing the next time. I hope this video helped you get an insight into why the Montessori method discourages rewards and punishment. If you found this helpful, do click the like button and share it with your friends and family. If you're new here, Please consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a video. Thanks for watching.